Hi Flosstube! Welcome back. I'm Erin, the 2 Martini Stitcher, here on YouTube and on Instagram, and this is my channel about cross stitch. So welcome if you are a returning subscriber. Thank you for coming back for another weekly Stitchy update, Stitchy happy hour. It is Sunday evening. It's Sunday, June 28th. I had to look at the calendar. It's June 28th and in the evening, and so we're having a little happy hour. It's actually a little past happy hour because it's after dinner for me here. Today I'm having a lemon and tonic. So it's some Bacardi lemon and some Fever Tree lemon tonic. So Fever Trees seems to have come out with a bunch of different fun flavored tonic waters. We've used their aromatic tonic in some cocktails from our subscription box, and I was at the grocery store this weekend. I saw a little lemon, so we thought we'd give it a try. It's delicious. Kind of tastes like sunshine. So that's the beverage for Stitchy Happy Hour this week. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. We talk stitching here for the most part, with maybe a little bit of life update thrown in, but mostly all about the stitching. So I hope you guys all had a good week. I'm going to do a little bit of Q&A, have a few announcements, and then we'll show WIPs. I have a finish that is also an FFO. What is happening? Can you believe it? Had a finish and FFO'd it this week. Crazy. And then we'll also talk a little bit about plans, because it is the end of June, y'all. End of June. July is this week. I don't know where that month went. So we'll talk a little bit of plans, do some haul, and a giveaway. So that's the agenda, and let's just jump in. Hope you guys all had a great week. We had a pretty good week here. Seemed kind of like a normal week. It was the last week of dance classes for like this session for the girls. And it was also the first week that they were able to go back into the studio on a very kind of limited, very small groups of 5. So you kind of had to preference, like it was kind of a lottery to see who got to go take classes in person and who took them on Zoom. And my girls were able to go take some class in person in the studio this past week. And that was, I think, very good for their souls, and then also good for this mama's soul, because they were the happiest. The youngest, when she came out of her first class back at the studio, that was the happiest I've seen her in well over a month. So I think it was very good for their mental state to be able to get back into the studio. This week is like a week off. It's kind of a break. Typically then they would be starting summer session, but instead we're going to have 2 weeks of like rehearsals for what we're hoping can be a little bit of a like outdoor small group showcase, like their normal recital. So we'll see what goes. We definitely had a few more plans canceled this week, a couple dance and Broadway intensive opportunities for the middle daughter that she thought were potentially maybe going to be a go in person or not. So it's kind of the excitement of being back in the studio was tempered a little bit with disappointment of yet more things being canceled, but that's the world we're living in these days. So that's how it goes. Let's see what else. Oh, on Thursday we had a fun meetup for those of you who were able to come join us. We had a fun little Zoom Stitchy meetup that was a fundraiser for Velo Sano, for our Velo Stitchers team. So if you're not familiar with that, if you're new, haven't been, or just catching up, I am on the Velo Stitchers team, which is a fundraising team for the Cleveland Clinic to raise money for cancer research. So some of us who have joined, who kind of started the team, pledged to stitch 100 hours between the 1st of June and Velo Sano weekend in the middle of July. because Velosano is typically a bike race, a 100-mile bike race to benefit the Cleveland Clinic, but COVID, so no bike race. And so they took it virtual, and we decided as stitchers that we weren't going to bike 100 hours, but we could stitch 100 hours. We were going to bike 100 miles, but we could stitch 100 hours. So we've been getting pledges. You can pledge my stitching. There'll be a link below. You can join our team and do your own stitching. It doesn't have to be 100 hours. Just, you know, maybe pledge to finish a project or whatever and get people to sponsor you. And as of yesterday, I didn't look this morning, but as of yesterday, we had just broken $6,000 raised so far. We had a goal of $10,000 by, I think it's the 17th. Let me look in my calendar. I think it's the 17th, 18th, 19th. Yep. The weekend of the 17th is Velosano weekend. We're going to run the fundraiser all the way through the end of July and are shooting for $10,000. So we're getting there. We're getting there. 6,000 felt like a big milestone. Thank you to everybody who has joined the team or donated in any way. Really appreciate that. The team was started by Alicia. She's Resist Stitch on Instagram, and she asked Michelle, Bendy Stitchy, and McKenna Stitching and Sequence and myself to come alongside her and join the team. And we've been having just so much fun and so many people jumping on board. So we had a little fundraiser meetup on Thursday with some stitchers that jumped on Zoom with us and stitched, and it was a really good time. It was a really good time. And if you're familiar with Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy's auctions, she does auctions every week for charity on her Instagram, and those have all been benefiting Velosano this month. Well, Michelle's feeling a little under the weather this week. It happens, and so she didn't want to, she kind of put auctions on pause for this coming week because she was worried if she wasn't feeling well, then she wouldn't feel up to running them, which is good. She should take care of herself. But I thought it might be a good week then to jump in, because I had put this together as a potential auction item. But since she's taking a little rest this week, taking care of herself and getting some rest this week, I thought that I would just let my little self in and put up an auction item myself this week. So I will run it very similar to how Michelle has always done hers. I'll probably just post it on my Instagram somewhere in the middle of the week and close it at some point over the weekend, and you'll just read the description and we'll see. We'll see if in Michelle's absence we can still raise some money on my one little auction. Okay, let's do Michelle proud this week. So here's what I have. You guys have watched me stitch these for a year. For a year, you've watched me stitch these, and everybody always gives them lots of love, and I'm done with them now. So I thought I would kit it up and auction off all of the Lizzie Kate yearbooks. So these are my charts. There's no charms in them, but it's the full set of Lizzie Kate yearbook charts. I'm going to throw in this little 12 pocket Bendy Flip Tula Pink, a really pretty needle minder that I thought matched perfectly. And then I have kitted up all of the DMC, because I use the DMC conversion on mine because they're little tiny things, and I didn't think they need the overdyed, and they came out, you guys have seen them, they're so cute. They came out so cute. So I'm going to put this up because I wanted to use this for some type of fundraiser at some point. And this seems like the perfect way to do it. So this will be up for auction on my Instagram, not Michelle's, my Instagram, at some point this week. So if you have been watching me stitch those all year and you thought that they were super cute, they're quick, fun stitches, they're really easy to bang out one a month, and this will be the perfect little thing to put them in, because I love this size of Bendy Flip. This is by Bags Plus, so I will link that in the comment, is all the charts like this size, the charts fit in there perfectly. You have enough pockets. I think I had to put like the white or something in here, but so that will be up for auction this week. We'll raise some more money. Let me see, any other Q&A? I had showed last week that I had gotten Coming Home for Christmas from Prairie Schooler in my haul section. And I had asked, I knew that I have the autumn one. I can't remember what it's called. It has the big turkey and the village pattern in autumn. And I asked if they were seasonal and if there were 2 more. Y'all came through for me. It doesn't seem like it's a full set, but there is one called Village Green. It's on my wish list now. I will end up with Village Green at some point so I can stitch all those villages. So thank you guys. I always love that any question I have, this community can answer it for me and help me buy stuff. So I think that was it from comments and announcements. So cheers to housekeeping being over. Let's look at some stitching, shall we? I think we should start with, well, let's start with Harry Potter book covers. Since we were talking about Valosano, I have pledged to stitch 100 hours on Harry Potter book covers by Fox and Teacup Design. This is the supersized max color version that I am doing. And I am, where am I? Did I bring my phone up here? I have cracked 50 hours. I think I'm 53 or 54 hours into this project. And here's my progress for this week. I'm working my way through his shirt and his arm. So you guys can see there's his, this is his wand here. Wand. And so I have a little bit more shirt and then pants to do. And then I'm getting into the bottom. I'm getting into the bottom of this design. So there we go. I don't know, guys. I'm not sure another 56 hours is going to get me all the way to the end of this book, but we'll see. We'll see. So there's my progress on Harry Potter book covers. He's looking so good. Looking so good. I'm stitching this on 18 count, easy count Aida. 2 strands of called for DMC. So there's my progress on Harry Potter book covers for Valosano. Now I'm just dying to show you my finish in FFO. Are you guys ready? I've already hung it up in my house, so I had to take it off the wall to bring it up. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Look at that, I finished. I finished. Welcome, everything is fine. And I was really worried. I mean, you guys saw I had tight margins. I have had hardly anything left. And this was a weird dimension. So it was 16 inches. Like this was 16 inches across from you can see. So this is a 16 by 8. I found this on Amazon. 16 by 8 frame. And you can see it's pretty tight in there, but I'm fine with that. I mean, this is just a fun little kind of snarky piece, and it's hanging in my entryway. But man, now that I have it up here, I think I really want it behind me. We'll see. We'll see. I love my something on the wall, but now that I'm having things to actually put on the wall, I mean, I'll still leave the something up for sure, but how funny would that be? Welcome, everything is fine on my Flosstube. But I also love it in my entry hall. So this was by 1000 Tiny X's on Etsy, and it was stitched on 18 count white Aida with 2 strands of DMC 702. So it's done. I love it. Yay. So now on to the next project that I'm going to put a strand of like 1 length of floss a day in is going to be Love My Stitching. So that will be my new daily piece until it's done, but Welcome Everything is Fine is finished. This feels so good. Love finishing and FFOing things because it doesn't happen that often. It doesn't happen that often in my world to actually finish and FFO something so quick. Cheers. So let's see. What else did I work on? I did do all of the tasks for Enchanted stitching. It was the last week of Monsters Inc. Oh, I need to watch the movie. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow or tonight. We'll see. There's just a few days left in the month. I better get on that. But I did fit a bunch of stuff into Enchanted stitching tasks. So the first thing I worked on you had to stitch on something that related to one of Mike's odorants. So he had like low tide, dumpster, wet dog, I think. And I decided to work on personal is political. I love this piece, but this was a very loose tie-in. I just wanted to work on it. So I said, our politics is a dumpster fire right now. So dumpster. But that's by Michelle Bendy. I am stitching this on a 32 count linen in the pink by R&R. And find where it is. Get to it. Here we go. I have threads hanging. And this is where I got to. So I put some more border in on both sides. I did personal, stitched most of this little bird and started in on the butterfly. This is a really fun stitch. I love this one. So, and I'm using some called for, some not. This is my thread palette. I think mostly not, but I'll list the flosses below. It's definitely in keeping with what Michelle charted, but just ones that I thought would look good on my fabric or I had in stash. So that's personal is political. Love it. I kind of thought maybe I would get that done by the end of the month, but not so much. Not so much. We'll see. Maybe I'll work on that some more this week. I don't really have that many solid plans for this week. I mean, I do, but there's a couple days till the end of the month. We'll see what happens. You may see that again next week. Okay, the next thing is I worked on Meow Block some more for Alphabet Soup. And then also I used it for Kitty. Boo calls Sully Kitty. And so you had to, I think, just stitch on anything with an animal or a pet, but Meow Block certainly works. So I put a little more time into Meow Block by Hands On Design. And I am stitching this on a 28 count linen in Flax with all the called for colors. And this is where I got to. So I put this table in and this cat, and I may have extended this line out a little bit more. Not real sure, but there we go. So that's Meow Block. This is so cute. This is really cute, and it's fun to stitch on, but it's a little, like, there's a lot of color changes, so it's a little futzy. So I kind of have to be in the mood for that kind of like futzier stitching. But I love this border up here with the little paws or Smyrna crosses. So cute. All right, so that's Meow Block, and now that will probably go away for a little bit. I think its birthday might be in July though, so we might see that next month for when I need to stitch on it for its birthday. Let me look. Yes, its birthday is in July, so that'll come out again in July for another little bit of stitching. All right, then it was the 24th, and on the 24th I work on Duke Clover, and I also got this to fit in for a task. Because the Child Detection Agency is the CDA. So we were supposed to work on something that started with C, D, or A. This is Duke Clover. So I started this for my birthday in March, and I work on it on the 24th of every month. And I bought it as a kit from Al Forst Embroidery. I did switch out the linen just because their cut of linen was a little tight on the margins for me. And so this is a 32 count linen in, I think it's platinum. I think it's platinum linen. I'm not real sure. And then I'm using all the kit flosses, which are so pretty. Okay, so this is where I got to on Duke Clover. There we go. So I finished out this motif here, which had been started, and then I started this one down here. So that was one task worth of stitching on the 24th for Duke Clover. This is it's just a fun, pretty stitch. Flosses are fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. I highly recommend the Al Forst kits. So, and the keys are Kryneck, so they're sparkly. All right, moving right along. I stitched on a lot of stuff this week. It kind of felt like this week, guys. And then The next day is the 25th, and we had Merry 25 stitching on our meetup. Our stitching meetup was Merry 25 themed, and so I pulled out, oh, here it is, over here. I pulled out my hands-on design chalkboard ornaments. I was working on Be Merry. I already had these two stitched. I was working on Be Merry, and this was on my WIP Go board to get a finish on the set, and I finished it. I got a lot of this done on the 25th, and so then come the 26th, I think on the 26th, might have even been that night, I just finished it up. It was just one of those things I'm like, I'm not putting this away. I'm close enough, I'm gonna finish it. You guys know how that goes. So this is all done. Be Merry, it's all finished. This is done on 16 count chalkboard Aida. I think it's a Witchelt fabric with all the called for flosses. So they're all done now. I should probably, maybe I'll take it out of the Q-snap. And I think I might actually send these off to be finished. They come with the little felt pieces in the chart and buttons to finish them. And Kathy gives great tutorial and template, I think maybe even templates, but has a tutorial on her site for finishing them. So I think that I could, but I kind of just don't want to. So here's the other two. So there's Believe, Be Jolly, and Be Merry. And I have space for a few more. I have another set. I'm just not sure I want to jump into stitching another set right now. So I might just cut those out and send those off to be finished maybe. So there we go, one set done, which meant I can I checked that off my WIP Go board. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys my WIP Go board because Jessie Marie, so WIP Go, if you're unfamiliar, is a group on Facebook. I will link it below. It is the brainchild of Jessie Marie, of Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And you essentially put together a bingo board at the beginning of the year with 24 or 25 projects, and you set yourself a goal for them. And she calls 2 numbers a month. So, oh, I haven't, look at that. I haven't even highlighted in chalkboard ornaments. Do that right now. Just look at that. And then you can set yourself rewards. So if you get a bingo, you can set yourself rewards like, you know, you're gonna buy some fabric or a project bag or new starts, maybe a new start for a bingo. So here is where my WIP Go board is at right now. So if it's squared off, it's been called. If it's hashed, it's called and finished. No, it's finished but not called yet. So I finished, everything is fine, but it hasn't been called yet. And then if it's filled in, it's called and completed. So you can see I'm pretty close. Actually, I can fill in this one too. Harry Potter book covers. Got, I hit 1,000 stitches on that since it was called in April. So look at that. Oh, I'm cruising right along. So this month was arranging vegetables and gobble gob. On mine was called arranging vegetables and gobble gob. Gobble gob I had already finished but hadn't called yet, so now it's been called. So you can see if this gets called and then I get another, I finish this and this gets called, like I'm getting close to some bingos. Matter of fact, if I get Game of Swans, this is my problem with my WIP Go board. I got really ambitious, and so I have Game of Swans on here essentially for a finish. I have this block that's Game of Swans half done, and that one Game of Swans half done. So, but here, if I got Game of Swans halfway done, we'll see about that, and the free space gets called, I'd have a bingo. I don't know when I didn't really set myself any rewards for getting bingo because let's face it, I treat myself all the time to purchases and starts. I just thought it would be a fun way to make myself focus on some pieces for finishes because almost everything on there is finishes. Farewell to Anger and Harry Potter book covers are on there multiple times for page finishes because I wanted to make sure I kept up momentum on my full coverage. So that's that. That was a little bit of plans. I got a little sidetracked there. It happens. Chalkboard ornaments, finished. Check. Check that off the list. So another finish. Okay. And then on Friday, oh, I forgot about on the 23rd. On the 23rd, I work on Letters for Mom. It was a mania start. And I'm going to stitch it. Here it is. Letters for Mom from Mom by Jeanette Douglas. And it's a series of 12 and you can do it as like one big piece. I'm just doing this to make the little letter envelope, and I'm going to do it 3 times, one for each daughter. So when I started it, I wanted to make sure I was working on it because I got to stitch it 3 times. So I slotted it in monthly to work on the 23rd, because the first one will be for my oldest daughter, and that is her birth date. Like, she was born on the 23rd. So Letters for Mom, worked on it on the 23rd. This didn't get slotted into a task. I just worked on it because it's on the calendar to work on it. I am stitching this on 36 linen in flax with all the called for colors. And here we are. Probably doesn't look much different from when you saw it last, but it is. I finished off letters. I had, I think, L-E-T, maybe part of this T, and I finished that off and then worked some more on that lacy border, I think just in this direction. So there we go. You can see that white in person. I think you can see it there too. It is really delicate and super pretty, but it's fun to stitch. So that was my progress on Letters from Mom on the 23rd. That must have been out of order in my tote o whips. Tote o whips, it must have been out of order. All right, and then the last thing that I worked on, last whip I worked on was Knee High by Hands On Design. I worked on this on Friday because it was its birth date. It was Knee High's birth date. So this got a little love, and I fit this into a task because we had to work on a whip with numbers. And this has number. I figured that counted. So here we go. I'm stitching this on, I think it's a 16. It's either a 16 or 18 count white Aida that I tea coffee dyed myself. And I'm using, I think, all the called for colors except this green was supposed to be avocado, guacamole, something that I didn't have. And so I used corn husk instead. But otherwise it's all the called for colors. I filled in a little bit more blue, did some more white on the flag, and this gray. So 250 stitches on Knee High. This was kind of like intended to be my Midwest stitch. Like I would stitch on it whenever we went back to the Midwest. I was supposed to go to Omaha in April. That didn't happen. We typically go to Michigan. Not sure that's going to happen, to visit my in-laws. So not sure how much more love this is going to get this year, because it was kind of my travel to the Midwest stitch. Well, I like it. I still love it. That's the point of working on all my whips on their birthday, is to make sure that I still like it, still want to work on it, want to keep it in active whip. I do. That's a fun stitch. I will finish it someday. All right. So that's it. That was whips. Plans. So it's almost July, which I had originally thought that I would do like a full Jolly July. And I was thinking I would do a Jolly Whip July, a la Joy-Filled Stitcher. And then as I started like making the plans and making the list of my Christmas whips, which I just finished Chalkboard Ornaments, that whole set. So I was down to like 4 or 5, which isn't a lot. It's not a lot of whips. And I was like, well, I could give each one like 4 days. Then I'd have to work in all the things that are on the calendar already. And I'm really liking that. And I was not feeling working on Christmas whips all month. So I have abandoned Whip July as my way of celebrating Jolly July. However, I am going to, did I bring them up? I didn't. I am going to, so my Jolly July, I'm still doing Jolly July, don't you worry. I'm doing 2 things for Jolly July. The first is, on the 1st, for high tea, I am going to start Sing a Sampler. So, because to me, this screams holiday. So I am going to start Sing a Sampler. I'm going to do them all together on one piece, 4 by 4 in this color conversion-ish by Jan Hicks. So Jan Hicks has an amazing color conversion. It's on her blog, on her website under color conversions. I will link it below. So it's more primary colors. It's not so like gold and gray toned. It's a lot brighter and primary colors, and it's really, really pretty. So this is going to be my high tea start July 1st. So I will show you my fabric for that. So I am using this 32 count vintage smoky white Belfast. This is one of the ones that's like printed on one side. So you can see it's like kind of an ivory, but it has some like kind of tan and movement to it. So I thought it would be just a nice, good neutral background for all of these pretty, pretty colors. So this is my color palette. The inside pieces, like these little motifs, the sun and the deer and stuff, I will just pull colors as I go, but these are the main colors for like the words and the words that go above this when you know the notes to sing and the frames. So that is really, really bright. It's gotten kind of dark here. It's getting darker. It's getting close to dusk. So that I'm starting on the 1st. So that's the first thing I'm doing for Jolly July is on the 1st, high tea start, I'm starting Sing a Sampler. And I'll work on that for a couple of days. Then I didn't bring them up. I already have them downstairs. I am going to start and finish, are you hearing me? I'm going to start and finish one of the Advent ornaments by Heartstring Samplery each week because I would like to gift those to my parents. So I want to finish them up so I can get them fully finished by someone who does prettier finishing than me. So but that's the extent of it. That's all I'm doing for Jolly July because I just was not feeling working on Christmas WIPs all month. And I want to keep going with my kind of calendar where I have things plugged in for each day. I'm working on my WIPs when they have a birthday. So Sing a Sampler, I'll work on Suffrage Act on the 3rd. I will work on, I decided on the 4th of July, I want to bring out Stitch for Sweet Freedom again. Holiday Quaker's birthday is on the 3rd, but I think I'm just going to push that to like the 5th. It'll get work around its birthday, but the 3rd is Suffrage Act's Day. So that's the week. That's the week I have coming up is Sing a Sampler start. I don't know what I'm going to work on for the next couple days. Maybe personal is political. I'm definitely in a very sweet kind of mood. Stitch what you want when you want. So Jolly July-ish. How about that? We're going to have a sort of Jolly July along with a little bit of sweet. Those are the plans. Okay. Haul. What did I buy? What did I buy that came in this week? I didn't have a ton of stuff. I had a little bit of stuff. I did get another package from Brandy because I can't seem to stop Friday Night Fight Night. I did it again this week. I am going to have to start playing in Friday Night Fight Night though because I declared bankruptcy in Stitch from Stash back in April. Well, Stitch from Stash, if you're not familiar with Stitch and Stash, it's a Facebook group. I will link it below where you kind of set yourself a budget each month and your purchases get deducted from your monthly budget, a max of $25. That's your max budget. So any purchases get deducted from your budget, but you get credit for your finishes. I was killing it the first 2 months, 3 months, not really, but I felt like I was doing okay. And then I started purchasing some stuff with some birthday money and then didn't stop because pandemic hit. So it's time. It's time to rein the spending back in. So I am getting back in. Stitch from Stash runs in 2 sections. So January through June is the first session. I'm back in for second session, and we'll see if I do better. So I might have to lay off Friday night, fight night. But in the meantime, I got some more of Brandy's beautiful silk, hand-dyed silk. This one's so pretty. It's like a teal to like a grayish kind of purplish. So pretty. So I picked up a silk, and I also picked up another piece of Boot Camp, which was my fabric of the month, but I got it in 36 count, which is great. But I got a piece of 32. So I picked this up in Friday night, fight night from Bestitch Me. So this is from Brandy, Bestitch Me. She has a website and a Facebook group. This piece is more green than the piece I got for fabric of the month. They're both gorgeous, but I love this. And I have moved my fabric of the month subscription with Brandy to 32 because I get 36 from Color and Cotton. And so I figure this way I'll get some 32 and some 36, but look how pretty that is. It's a really pretty grayish, beigeish green Boot Camp. This will be perfect for some kind of sampler. I don't know. I was thinking something kind of pinkish for like a cherry blossom, but that greenish is, I don't know. I haven't kitted that up yet, so I'm not sure what the flosses will look like. All right, so that was one thing. And then I also got an order from 123 Stitch. And I placed an order with them for 2 reasons. One, because they got in the other 2 charts that I needed for Things Unseen. If you've been around for a little bit, you know, I bought this off of Stash Unload all kitted up, but it was only the first pattern, and it comes in 3 parts. So it was the first pattern, all the flosses, all the fabric, all the embellishments, but I needed the other 2. They were not in stock at 123 Stitch, so I did the little notify me, and they came back in. So I have all the pieces for Things Unseen, and then I also got the beads for Touching the Autumn Sky. I picked up some DMC for another chart that I have coming. That was a pre-order. So I picked up some DMC, and then I got another one of the water lilies for Tree of Hope. So I picked up those and random flosses and such. Oh, this was on sale. I don't even know. I just thought it looked really fun. Of all the ones at Satsuma Street of these little kits that they've done, I think it's on perforated paper. Yes, black perforated paper, but it comes with all the floss and the little sequins and everything. And I love this little Eye of Newt. I don't know. This is like the one that I kept eyeing, and I think it was on sale. And so I grabbed that. The other thing that was on sale, because I always check out their like sale section. I think I got notified the same day that those were in the same day that their newsletter came out. And one of the things they had on sale were charts with borders. So I was like, well, I'm going to check that out for sure. And they had this border chart on sale from Little House Needleworks, From Sea to Shining Sea. And it comes with the silks. So this is charted in silk. I'm going to assume that they're like the Classic Colorworks silks, which isn't Classic Colorworks, but you guys know what brand it is. So it's charted in silks, and they give you the silk to do it. The reason I picked this up, hang with me, and I started looking at it is when I started Crosses of the Kingdom, if you guys remember, I started Crosses of the Kingdom for my parents for their 50th anniversary. Well, my in-laws' 50th anniversary is the same year, and I was saying I wanted to do a piece for them as well. And in my head, I wanted to do something with like 3 houses that I could maybe chart in the coordinates of like the 3 homes that have been really meaningful to them in their marriage, as they've like raised their kids. And so I was looking, I was like, huh, that's neat. And I was looking at these houses, and 3 of them really stood out as being a great representation of 3 other houses. So I'm only going to do 3. I'll do the border, and then I'll chart something in here like home is where you are. I'm thinking something like that. Home is where you are. I'll chart something in there to fit, which means I'm going to have to learn how to do that. I'm going to have to figure that out. There's no huge hurry because I think this will stitch up pretty fast, and I have a couple years, but if I procrastinate, then I procrastinate. So I need to figure out how to do my own like charting. I know there's software out there to do that. I'm a Windows girl. Husband works for Microsoft. We use Windows. We're a PC family. And so hit me up with software. What software is good for cross-stitch designing? I mean, not really designing, like I'm just going to rechart something on my own. I'm not a designer by any means, but I'm going to have to figure out how to, you know, fit in. I'll probably take these stars out and just do the little like leaf border and that. So of course, then I had to get the 3 charts. So my in-laws, when they were first married, lived in Indiana in the Midwest in a little farmhouse. And that's where they raised their kids. So I picked this one for their house in Indiana where they raised their kids. And then I picked this one for their lake house in Michigan. And I think I'll also do some recharting here and take the flag out. They have a like spinner with sailboats on it that they put out every year. So I want to rechart this to be like spinner boats. Yeah, so I have some work to do. I need to figure out how to do all this. But that's going to be their lake house. And then this last one is they now snowbird in Florida. So this is going to be their Florida house. And I might have to change the colors a little bit to match the colors of the houses. And that's okay. And these all came with the silks. If I have to sub out some silks, that's okay too. But, oh, there's other charts. But, so I got these. I'm really happy that I finally settled on something to do for my in-laws anniversary. I just have I have some tweaking and work to do, but I grabbed the charts. And I was glad that I'd never seen this one before. Sea to Shining Sea. And it's like, this is Southwest. They're all named. Like this is Midwest. Like that's perfect for the farmhouse. This one is West Coast that I'm using for Florida, but you know, palm tree water, that works, right? This one is East Coast that I'm using for their lake house. And then I think there's like Southwest, and I don't know what this one is. That's Southwest, but this is cute. It's a cute little chart and I had never seen it before. So that's what I got from 1-2-3 Stitch. Okay, and then the last thing I picked up was I did some shopping on Allison Rosen's D-Stash. And on Instagram, I'll link her below because I think she still has a bunch of stuff there. She's been running one heck of a D-Stash. She's a quilter and has, if you are a quilter, go check out her D-Stash. It's making me want to turn into a quilter. But she did have some other things up. She's also had a ton of, and may still have, one of the things I picked up from her D-Stash was she was doing these grab bags of wool felt. And she stuffed these bags full, guys. And I love felt for like backing little pillows or any other kind of little finishing. So, I mean, like so many good pieces of felt. Like, I think this would be really fun for like cutting out little hearts to close up the back of pillows, or, I mean, like that's a big piece. So she shoved that bag full. That was a good deal. So go check out her D-Stash because I think she still has a bunch of quilt fabrics, but, and she might still have some felts. She also was selling lots of Victorian motto threads. I stopped myself at 3. I could have bought up a whole bunch. So I think she was splitting, because I think Victorian motto comes maybe in like 20 yards, and she was splitting them in half. So she had some with like the original Victorian motto tags and some that she had put on like other tags, like really nice plastic ones. So these were, you guys don't want me to go through these individually, do you? But she had some nice lots of Victorian motto threads, And so I picked up some that had colors I knew I would use, like some of these pretty golds and tans and prim colors, and like love that, like these. That's a great color. What is that? This is, oh, Harvest Bounty. Yeah, that's got like pumpkins written all over it. So, and then there were some pretty blues in there too. Love this one. Spooky Shadows. That's like a fantastic gray. So I picked up some Victoria mottos. I did hold myself back because I would have me pleased. I happened to be on there where I think when she posted all the Victoria mottos. And after 3, I'm like, okay, I gotta stop it. No more. Let somebody else have some. Or please buy them and stop me. So that was what came in the mail this week. Some good stuff, which is good. Like I have so much stuff to stitch, guys. Stitch from stash. Stitch from stash. Take 2, round 2. I'm here for it. Let's see if I can do a little better this time than I did last time around. So I think the only thing left is giveaway. So last week's giveaway was for this cute little needlebook kit with sunflowers. And I told you if you wanted to stitch this to let me know you wanted to stitch the sunflowers. I ran the YouTube comment picker, and the winner is Erin Perpetual Projects. You won! Shoot me your email, or not your email, shoot me your address. Either email or DM me on Instagram, and I'll get that in the mail to you, Erin. And Erin has a great Flosstube. If you haven't seen it, check her out, Erin Perpetual Projects. So, what's up for giveaway this week? I figured since I finished it, and we are coming into Jolly July, I would pass the stash on the chalkboard ornaments. So it'll be just the pattern. I'm gonna keep the little doodly dads to finish. That's a real term, doodly dads. But this will be up for giveaway this week. So if you want this, just let me know if you are doing Jolly July, and I will look for Jolly. Jolly is the word that I will be using to pick the winner. So let me know. Are you doing Jolly July? Are you not? What are your plans? Hit me. Hit me with all your ramblings and musings about Jolly July. And that will be the giveaway for next week. And that's it. That's it, guys. That's all I got for you this week. I hope everybody had a really good week. Don't forget that I'm going to be auctioning off the Lizzie Kate yearbook. So look for that on Wednesday. And I hope you guys are having a good week and continuing to stay safe, and that everything is good and well with you. And until I see you again, I think that's it. I'm looking around and I think we did it all. We did it all. So I will see you guys next week. And until then, cheers.